Kamala Harris is putting out word salad, and Megyn Kelly has the greatest, smartest historian in the whole world, Victor Davis Hanson, on our show, whom I just love. I'm John Mike Keene.
And what seems to be happening lately is her absence is no longer really helping her.
That's cutting against her. Mainstream media is turning on Kamala Harris. Here's Molly Hemingway's tweet. Even with the media completely running her campaign, it's so crazy that Democrats nominee Kamala Harris is simply not smart enough to handle campaign interviews, press conferences, gaggles, etc., with what is essentially be her own staff. Even Biden did those. She's worse than Biden.
Reminds me of a famous anecdote, Megyn, about World War I and the Battle of Jutland. They said that Admiral Jellicoe was the only man in the British Navy who could lose the war in a minute, and if he got the home fleet destroyed. And that's kind of what she is. She's got the ability to go out there and do a word salad that would confirm every stereotype of her, and they know that.
They have to hide Kamala because one word comes out of her mouth and it's over. They have to play hide the Kamala.
They're going to keep her. And the longer they keep her hidden, the more anxious she's going to be and the more, worried. And it's just going to be a doom loop. So they should get it out over with early in the campaign and get her out there. But they're not going to do that.
She's never practiced having to speak with honest, tough questions. This is where Republicans and conservatives out in real life are way tougher than liberals and Democrats. I was challenged every day by my beliefs. And if everyone agrees with you, you never have to get challenged.
It's actually really interesting now, Victor, because Trump is blanketing the field with alternative media. And J.D. Vance is all over the mainstream media, doing battle with NBC and CBS and CNN and you name it. So it's actually a very clever strategy. But I've seen this done to Republicans a million times. So let's see that done to her. What changed? Your campaign aide said in a statement that you've changed your position on taking away people's private health insurance. What changed your mind? Walk us through the reasoning. You once said you were in favor of not deporting any illegals and giving them all health insurance. What changed your mind on that?
But we all know the answer to that question is she doesn't think. She did not come to those opinions by herself. She did not go from one thought to the next, connecting it with reasons and logical inference and ideas and information.
You once said you wanted to ban all fracking. Now, through a paper statement, you say you're not. What changed walk us through your logic and your reasoning. See if her mind is even fast enough to come up with the lie that will cover for, gee, my team told me I had to reverse myself if I wanted to win.
They're going to dismantle Kamala Harris in this debate if she has to answer a question. But Victor Davis Hanson, they continue to unpack what's wrong with Kamala Harris's mind. This is a deep dive into that swamp, that smelly swamp full of mosquitoes, Kamala Harris's mind.
It's not going to happen. You know why? Because she can't. She can't intellectually. I mean, it's logically she can't, but she's not, I don't want to be condescending, but she is not equipped to think on her feet and come up with a plausible explanation or even a plausible excuse. And they know that.
Everyone, the Democrat Party knows Kamala is dumb even more than the Republican Party. That's why they're hiding her. Everyone knows. Both sides know, but none of them know it more than the people that are close to Kamala. She's an idiot.
They've caught her twice, Megyn, in, I would call it ambush, impromptu snippets. And the first was when the hostages came back from Russia. And for a moment on the tarmac, if somebody stuck a camera, what do you think about this? And she started talking about the art of diplomacy. The art of diplomacy was very important. And Joe Biden, no one is better than the art of diplomacy than Joe Biden. And she just went in that same wash, rinse, spin cycle.
Her answers are terrible because what's rolling around in her heart and mind are terrible, incoherent. It's mush. This is just leftist power grab. And they just fill in the blank with whatever. And then the press heralds her as a genius.
And then they caught her again when she was giving a riff on democracy. Democracy is very important. We all,
there's a duality.
It's fragile. Yeah, and it's the same thing. And then each time if you look at those clips, you look at Joe Biden's face and it's like, what is she talking about? And then it's Tim Walz is looking at her when she's talking about democracy. And it's like, stop, please, stop.
Everyone around her knows. In fact, Kamala might be the only one who doesn't know.
You're going to lose this.
You can lose it in 1 minute. If she'd gone on for 2 minutes, and people know that. They know that's what is so important about having these other voices and Trump trying to point these out, and people like Cotton and JD Vance, because there is no solution to it. And they know that.
This is the entire election, folks. This is what's great about it is Democrats, they can't have you know what they really think. They can only try and push emotions on you. Whereas Republicans, we've got a deep bench, and maybe the people are too dumb to care, but we have the arguments.
You cannot be a hard left radical and then suddenly try to stage a pseudo MAGA convention and reverse everything you've said, but not specifically renounce what you are really for because of your base.
Yeah, they all have to hide that because all these Democrats that are covering for her all believe they really are leftist communist radicals. But they can't say that to the public and win an election. What are you, crazy?
And then you can't say that you're the party that fights for democracy, or democracy dies in darkness by Republicans, and then deliberately take a candidate who never won a single delegate, never entered a single primary, was anointed by a bunch of donors and backroom politicos, and then suddenly turn her into Barack Obama.
Yeah, Barack Obama could actually speak, and Kamala is not even close.
But the media will allow this, and they won't pressure her to save their own dignity. Because their politics are more important to them than their dignity. They want her to win more than they want anything.
And here's Jimmy Follia on Twitter. This is great. The campaign that hasn't done a single interview claims Trump wants to hide behind a mute button at the debate. We are officially witnessing the death of shame. I'm John Mike Keane. Subscribe.